Greetings and gratitude to all life forms and life workers who have found this discussion on occult mysticism in gaming. First example and review of occult lore. This will be a continuous series, how the mystic arts can be taught and recreated through modern gaming traditions. So a group of people sitting together at a table with one person saying things while others makes decisions based on the outcome of dice is not any new phenomenon, even though we are only really began exploring it recently in gaming. But this type of gaming goes back very long, maybe back to the original origins of gaming itself. Some types of activity games, such as role-playing, must have been formed at this time. So, as I will go through, I'm not going to go through all the occult lore. I'm going to go through a little bit of it. So, I will read the back of the book. This paragraph I love. So, wizards study their academic magics in great halls of learning. Sorcerers discover their spells through innate talents. Clerics call upon the gods for divine favor. But what of those magic users who delve into more obscure mystic traditions? What of those who tap into the power of the heavenly spheres, or awaken the secret essence of herbs to distill potent magical concoctions? Those whose gifts lie in drawing spirits or elemental forces to do their bidding, or who can explore the twisting paths of a dreamer's mind? What of those whose very presence tempers with the familiar magics of arcane and divine spellcasters? All these find their place in occult lore, a source book of magical knowledge for D20 system players and GMs alike. Each of this book's 10 chapters explore a different avenue of magical study, from the alchemist's quest for immortality through the philosophical perfection to the improvised rituals of sympathetic magic. Whether you are searching for a new character concept or looking for a few tricks to hide up your favorite magician's sleeve, this is the book for you. So, my question is, if we do magic in gaming, but magic isn't real, or magic is demonic, or whatever you want to label the magic is, but you are willing to do it in gaming, but when you're playing the game is no different from when you're not playing the game, because you're just the same person. So if you are doing magic in a game, you must be doing some of that magic, whatever it may be, in real life, maybe by just the act of playing the game as magic itself, which is a whole nother school of thought that we can go into later videos. And I'm very much interested in this topic, and I'm going to bust open. The first image is the zodiac, the alchemical mystic zodiac. In this image, which I have seen in multiple ancient scripts, a version of this, it basically shows the four spheres, or the four great mountains of the earth, the 4 points of earth that define the directions. It also shows the double spiral of the earth, of the hollow earth within, that there is a planetary center within the earth, is one theory, or the sun itself moves in different progressions. This can be labored through the 4 directions of the universe, and the 4 constellations, and the 4 entities that connect. Each equinox is also described as well in this graph. A source book of magical knowledge by Kenneth Baker, Adam Blank, Chris Jones, Scott Reeves, and Elton Robb. in a fantasy world. Okay, I'm not going to go directly into it. So, chapter introduction is hidden knowledge. Chapter 1 is alchemy. Chapter 2 is astrology. Chapter 3 is elementalism. Chapter 4 is geomancy. Chapter 5 is herbalism. Chapter 6 is magical imagination. Chapter 7 is oniromancy. Chapter 8 is rational magic. Chapter 9 is spirit cultivation. Chapter 10 is sympathetic magic. Appendix. And there's a grimoire at the end. A grimoire of occult lore. I'm going to go right to the grimoire. So what is a grimoire? A grimoire is a collection of spells, practices, rituals, and beliefs based on any system created by an individual practitioner for the use of referring back to at a later date. Okay. So when we look into our reality and we see the magics and we learn the magics, whatever game it may be, idea if you are doing necromancy in a game, you are bringing back some dead aspect of you to life. In whatever game you are playing, if you're doing oromancy, some part of that nature force of the snow or the flame is coming through your aura and through your power. If you are committing a divination, if you are doing direct divination and you're committing to an act of divination, how are you doing it? What is the feeling of it? How is that energy being used in its own way? And how are you best able to take these spells, to write down and to work with the illusion, but to also work with what's real? See, half of this stuff is illusionary. Half of the occult lore, whatever your occult lore that you're looking to, is actually meant to confuse, is meant to dissuade the seeker. But the sincere seeker continues after, finds the parts that are resonant, and connects the past together in their own splendor, in their own way of doing things. I prefer, my magic is very obvious. Anyone who knows me knows I do jewelry magic. Very simple and very easy. People who also watch my channel know I do divination magic. People who know me closely know I do sigil magic and writing magic. But all of these things can be gamified, and all aspects of life can be gamified. But when we gamify our essence of love, we put that in everything, because what we do in the game and what we are not doing in the game is very little difference, based on the theory that all reality is a game, that all life is a simulation game meant for humans to learn or be slaves based on which side of the system you're on, or what belief system you have. So there's mask making societies, mask maker prestige class, and understand that wherever you may be, whatever level of development you may find, put that right mask on and take it off when you're at that next level. By being able to project what you want to others and project it within yourself is a very powerful energy. So never forget that you can transmute something from one form into another. Use the alchemical transmutation of saying that this was only meant to be a game. Oh, it's only just a game. Well, use that game as actual magic, as actual practices. But take that real thing, circle casting, calling in the corners, the actual studied and proven science of magic into the theorem of magic, which is what you're playing with in the game space. When you take that theorem and you turn it into scientific practice, this is where the land of the alchemist comes. This is where the magic begins to flow in its ichor form in a more liquid state. So, I have a lot more to say. I don't want to go too deep into the occult lore at this time. I will at another time with a special guest. So, I thank you for your time and your space. May you continue to study, and may you continue to find your own occult lore.